My name is Caleb Preisner. I'm going to talk to you about K2 and experiences I've dealt with K2 and other people on K2. K2 is labeled as a herbal blend marketed for home incense, but is being used for much different purposes and can have potentially dangerous effects. Although K2 is marketed as synthetic marijuana, the effects can be 10 times more intense than those from marijuana and can be very lethal. K2 comes in 3-gram packages, has been banned in many states. It even breaks down your bone marrow slowly. And I know everybody's heard of nicknames for K2, and a couple of them are Spice, Pure Evil, Mr. Nice Guy, Tunchi. And some symptoms you could experience on K2 is nausea, vomiting, drowsiness, agitation, shakiness, headache, suicidal tendencies, anxiety, panic attacks, even hallucinations. I mean, it's just no good. And I'm going to talk to you about someone I know and their experience on K2. Well, I was recently in jail for 270 days, and while I was in there, I saw a guy withdrawn from K2, and he just kept running back and forth in his cell from one end of the room to the other end of the room and just bouncing his head off the wall. I mean, blood everywhere, cuts all over him, and he was withdrawn from it. I mean, he was talking nonsense, didn't know where he was, didn't know anything. I mean, he was peeling paint chips off the wall, dropping them in the toilet and eating them. It was just nasty. I mean, dude was messed up, and the withdrawal was pretty bad. Now, the experience I've had with K2, usually I don't remember them. I mean, I'll smoke, whatever happens, happens, and I'll wake up and not remember anything. Well, one night, I was smoking with a bunch of friends and ended up waking up the next day in jail. And I was being charged with armed robbery. Well, they said that I robbed a gas station. I mean, I remember some parts of the night, like it was like pictures throughout the night, but I couldn't remember much. And it was terrible. I mean, the feeling of sitting in jail, a cold cell, saying that I'm looking at life for an armed robbery, something that I couldn't even remember, was just scary. I mean, I had a 2-year-old at home, my family. It was a really bad feeling. And I ended up getting sentenced to 270 days in jail, and I did good. I went through it, got out, went to outpatient rehab, succeeded that. I went there for a few months, and then graduated that. After I got done with that, I mean, I had a job. I don't have it anymore, but I did have a job at the time. I was going through school. I got my GED, which is a huge accomplishment. I mean, I dropped out of school and went in like 10th or 11th grade. I got kicked out of school. I'm 20 years old now. So getting my GED was a huge accomplishment. I mean, having a felony, trying to get a job is the hardest thing ever. I mean, it's really hard. It's almost impossible, but I mean, if you just keep trying, it eventually will happen. But I mean, K2 is just a terrible drug. I mean, if you think it's going to be all fun and games, you're going to get high and have a good time, you might at the time, but the long term is not going to be fun and games. I mean, you could die. I know I've lost a lot of friends from that drug. It's to have seizures from it, heart attacks, and end up dying. I mean, if you think getting a little high is worth that, then you're crazy, because it's really not worth it. I mean, you lose your family, your loved ones, friends. I mean, you lose a lot of stuff just for a little high, a couple minutes. I mean, the high only lasts like, what, 15 minutes? It's not worth it. And it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. And if you're going to choose life over, I mean, if you're going to choose life over death, then good for you. But if you're going to say, oh, screw it, I've never had a bad high from it, I'll just smoke it, I can't get addicted, you're wrong. You're really wrong. I mean, when I used to smoke it, it wasn't legal to smoke, but it was legal to be sold. But it's not anymore, and there's a reason for it, and it's because it's not good for you. And it's just messed up. Well, that's all. Hopefully you can stay off the drugs, and if you can't, you can just go talk to someone, a counselor, go to a meeting, talk to your parents or a friend, just do something to get off the drugs. Bye.